Okay, we're back. And we're in the void. Oh, man. I gotta go into Mordor. Give me a second. Oh. I gotta take a dive. Quick. Oh. Into the Shadow Realm. Is that good? Let's just give it a bit quick. The cat is sleeping. We made it. Let's see if we can get the cat to show us. Come on. Yeah. Okay, we're in business. We fixed it. Okay, hope you guys can hear me. I am headphoneless tonight, but that's because I've been on the road. I've been all over the place. Part of the reason why I wasn't here early to make sure the machine would work on time. Thanks, Microsoft. Just got that really important update in there. But hey, we're back. It is 8 o'clock on a Friday, 28th of March. So while I'm talking, I might be a little bit out of pace with the tunes you're listening to tonight. But apart from that, it'll be business as usual. Hello, Kirk. Hello, Full Dive. Hello, Dragon Diffusion. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining. Let me just see this. I'm a little bit distracted. Sorry, guys. There we go. So, if you're watching live or you're watching later, don't forget to join our Discord. The join link is in the description. Loads of cool stuff on there. I'm starting to sort of reorganize things as well, so it's going to get simpler and there'll be more channels that people will actually use. Well, that's the idea anyway, because at the moment, you know, I'm trying to label them for how people are using them rather than, you know, what we came up with about a year ago randomly, right? So that's what we're doing on that side of things. So first things first, let's get into where we were last time. So I got some new articles I want to talk about. I got some new Gits I want to talk about. But we're going to look at the model that we trained yesterday. Is it you or is it quiet? It might just be... Wait. Yes, it is quiet. The music isn't playing. Hang on a sec. Why isn't the music playing? Music. There we go. Wait. I don't hear... Yeah, you're not wrong. It's just me. It's just me talking for some reason. Hold up. I'm going to see if we can't figure out what's going on. So, stop. Start. Oh, no. It should be working. It should be working. It's just quite quiet. I think we messed with the volume at some point. It is playing. All right. Thanks, guys. Because I can't hear it. I've got no headphones. You know, you'll have to let me know. If you want to go up a touch, down a touch, it might be a little bit too weak. I don't know. So, we were training airship interiors yesterday. So if we take a quick look at airship interiors, okay, we've now got Epoch 9. Now, I think Epoch 9 is actually overtrained. So, I think I like the look of Epoch 8. And I like the look of Epoch 4. So I'm going to take 4 and 8. No. Yeah, 8. Okay. Right. So then we've got a strong and a weak. Just like before. No music. Sorry, Dragon. It might just be like quiet. I don't know. Very strange. With very strange things going on tonight. Somebody been messing with my stuff. I boosted it a touch. We'll see if that's louder than me now. It's probably because I don't have my headphones on and I'm shouting at the microphone. Whereas normally I've got my headphones on, so I'll be talking with the volume of the music. I probably should just get a spare pair of headphones and leave them here always. Right. So we're downloading those two models, so we'll check them out. Alright, so that's part one. Part one is the update on the training from yesterday. We're also going to set up another training because I wanted to do a couple of shows in a row just to make sure that everybody's seen it. Okay? But essentially it's the caption route, training, retraining old models with the append, caption append. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to test these two models in a little bit. Okay, so next let's talk about articles. I've written 3 articles. One of them is the Hunyan 3D that we covered a couple of days ago. So this would be how to get it set up and a workflow. Okay, pretty simple. Most of you guys have already seen it. We turned my car into a voxelized 3D model. Really cool. Okay, next we're going to be going to this one last. Next we did Stable Diffusion Large with Chjuf in Q8, 8 gigabytes with ControlNet and IP adapter. Now you have to use one at a time because it requires a lot of memory, and we're going to get to a solution to that in just a minute. So I'm going to leave this open for a second. So as you can see, GGUF, ControlNet, IP adapter, Clip Vision, Sketch Tab, which is something we're also going to come back to later. We're on a bit of a speed run, by the way, guys. Okay, and then we go Control Video with WAN Fun. This is a whole new model from Alibaba. It's based on WAN, but it comes with ControlNet. So it has Pose, it has Canny, it has Depth, and I think it has another one like HLSD or something. So it's got all the good stuff. It's also got an in-paint model as well. Here's the problem though, 47 gigabytes for the full fat. So if you want just the 1.3 parameter, 19. And I couldn't get it to run on my machine, even when I'm 24. I think my system is using a lot of VRAM. Oh, it was your Windows, was it? I'm glad you got to the bottom of it, Dragon. Okay, so I put out the basic workflows. This is all the author stuff, right? And what they've got is they got image to video, which is a lot like our WAN, Magic, or Flow Edit for Hunyan. It's very similar. And then there's text to video, which you probably know. Trajectory control, so you can, choose where you want it to move. And then this one, this is the one I'm really interested in. I mean, this one's pretty cool for memes, right? But this one I like because we've got our assets already cooked for this course sort of thing. Okay. So, 14 billion, longer than an hour with heavy offloading. Yeah, it's not perfect, but the thing is, quantizations will come. It's like Wayne's World, If this model is popular and it's good, the quantizations will come. It's just a question of if it's as good as they say it is, because people got to get it to work, blah blah blah. But yeah, there's more examples here. So if we just take a quick look at that. Oh no! Don't you stop? Okay, so I was about to get copyrighted out of my back end. Just a sec. It's probably too late. You'll probably watch that live stream and be like, what happened to that scene? And the reality is they probably claimed the entire stream for that. I've turned the volume off. Right. There's videos auto-playing, basically. But yeah, you can see here, ControlNet. ControlNet thing happened. Is it going to get there? When I tested it, it did this one by default. So I think you have to mess around with the workflow to get it to do what you want. But yeah, anyway, you can come on here and attempt to load these videos. I don't know what's going on. The page is going a bit funny now. So anyway, so what I'll do is I'll update these articles as and when the GGUF stuff comes, because obviously FP8 quantizations. We need quantizations. 19 gigabytes is just ridiculous. Pretty big. And 49, this is what I'm talking about. People don't realize it's because the full stack is here. The model, the text encoder, everything is in one repo, and that's why it's so big. So obviously people are going to break it up, split it down, and crush it with GGUF or FP8, FP4 maybe, I don't know. But the point is, it'll get smaller and I'll update and add new links. So that's the plan for this article. But, we want to check it out, right? So I had an idea. Run pod. Okay. We'll get to GitHub in a minute. Most of it's run pod anyway. Okay. So obviously I made an SD35 that'll get added to the list. So we've already talked about that. SD35 with GGUF. That's going to get added. But this one is WAN Fun. Now, I had to do a special, because it's got a bit of a funny way of installing it. So this one's actually got like a special provisioning script. This one's failed because I haven't logged into it for ages. Let's just take a quick look at that. Oh, that's something else we're going to look at. Man, we are on a crazy speed run tonight, okay? It's alright, there it is. So if we go to run pod in it, I've added the SD35 startup and also the WAN Fun, right? So let's just take a quick look, because there's some extra stuff we had to do to get this one to work. So I had to add a new section called install pi, which basically means that when we're installing nodes, any node here will get git cloned, and then the requirements will get installed to the Python that this server is using. So that's quite a specific thing, but that's how it's set up. The problem is this particular repo has a install.py. So what I've done is I've created a whitelist for nodes that contain an install.py, and then what it's going to do is it's going to run that. Okay, does that make sense? I know it's like it was a bit of a trick to get that to work. What was the other thing we had to do? Oh yeah, we've got a couple of extra bits and pieces because some of them didn't have a clip vision section, so we've added that. It's pretty straightforward to add new sections, by the way, so I might explain that real quick. And then also, this was the other thing that was a big trick, right? So every other type of Hugging Face on here is a model, a single file, right? And so the Hugging Face repo files basically are inside the repo. So basically, it's supposed to do the entire thing. When I look at this a minute, actually. I think I might. Wait, what? Did it hang on a minute. Did it figure out how to do it? Hang on a minute. I need to figure out what it just did. Because obviously I did it with Claude. Let me just see what it did. Hang on. You goon. Yeah, that's not going to work. Yeah. Okay, right. Well, anyway, it's a work in progress then. But we'll get there. So I've just come in here and discovered that he actually downloaded 2 files that don't exist. Go. See, what I'm trying to do is get it download the entire Hugging Face repo, so I'm going to have to actually keep working on that. That's alright. I was literally working on it right up until the computer started to restart. So, you know. Anyway, we've added extra code down here, like I say. But yeah, like I said, you don't need to touch this code really. All I've done is like modified and added new bits for extra stuff that's slightly different. So essentially I'll have to change this so it should be downloading the entire repo. Maybe it does, and that what wget as a fallback, because I can see it here. I can see it is actually downloading it. Yeah, so the point is that I was going to tell you how we added clip vision. So if you see there's clip here, provisioning, get models, workspace, comfy UI models, clip models. If I want to make clip vision, here's the clip vision, right? It's the exact same. Clip vision, right? So when it sees clip vision up in the array, it'll download them and put them into this path. So anything in this list goes to this path, and you should pretty much just do that for any model folder that you need to create. So the only thing about this fun models thing is it's needed to be treated slightly differently because it needs the entire repo, which is why it's a bit strange to see this here, because these paths don't exist. But anyway, we'll see if it works, won't we? Did I have to restart it? Yeah, I gotta restart it. So in case you've never used RunPod, may as well take you through that real quick. When you're on RunPod, what you can do is go to storage, and you create a new volume, and you say, oh, I want to run a 4090, please. Wait. Yeah. So you say, I want to run a 4090, so you pick a location that has the 4090. So I'm going to pick IS1. And then you put a volume name in, and you pick how much you want. Most of the time you need 100 gigabytes because AI stacks are huge, and you have to actually have comfy in there as well and everything else. And so when you add it all up, it's going to be more than 50. It's going to be at least 100. You may even need more than that. Okay. But it says that you get charged per month. So if I only have it for a couple of hours, get my files out and delete it, you don't pay the full amount. You pay, per division down over time, whatever it is, right? There are some extra charges, read that, blah blah blah, but honestly I've never really, you'd have to forget about it for months. Right, so you create that, and then you get your thing. So obviously this one's SD35 because it's got the SD35 stuff in it. It's only a 50 gigabyte, works, it's good, fun. 100 gigabyte, okay? So I'd click deploy, and then it's going to ask me to pick GPU. So I want this one. You can pick anything you want, you know what I mean? It's up to you what you have, but if I pick 4090, and then it'll ask me to pick a template. Now this is a default empty PyTorch, it's got nothing in it, okay? So obviously if you're on thing, you can type DJZ, and it will come up with, it should come up with all my templates. You should be able to search for them. They are public, right? And you can. I'm sure you can find them in Explore as well. So if I said DJZ, yeah, they just come up, right? So here's WAN video. That's normal WAN video, Mochi video, Hanyan video, SD35 LTX, WAN video in Gaguf. There's also One Trainer, RVC. Some of these are probably quite outdated, but like I said, it's supposed to keep up to date, so it's supposed to auto update, you know what I mean? But obviously, if GHCR stops maintaining, then, because that's the thing, they're a really good team to be fair, and as far as I know, they're active. So Jaguar Flux, that's a good one. But anyway, we're going to pick WAN Fun, okay? So obviously if you did it from this way, you pick WAN Fun, hit deploy. The only difference is you have to remember to select your network volume up here, and then you carry on as with the other one. So anyway, yeah, we change our template, and then you hit deploy, bang. Now first run always takes a while because it's going to download all the models, but after that you're good to go. So then you just pay your rental on the storage space, and it will be faster on the second time you run it. Let's see. Is it gonna crash and smash? Because we're using a heavily experimental one right now, by the way. The other ones are actually stable. So this one claims to be up right now. So let's see if we can connect to it. The first thing you do when you load this thing up is you update the Comfy UI. It says not ready. Oh, lies, I think. There's a username and password. You can configure it by overriding the template. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But the default is just user password. And then we go Cloudflare tunnel. And it's going to take us into the Comfy UI. Now, as soon as it loads, I'm going to tell you a couple of extra things about this that'll make life easy. Okay, are we going to get there? Whoop. Okay, cool. So now that's just sitting there waiting for us. Let's go back here. So if you ever have any problems, you go to the logs, go to the container. This is the raw output that we're used to seeing. Okay, so if you're like, oh, I don't know, look, you can see here, look, Video Fun is installed. That's the hard part, because it's got a really weird installation. So it's working. This is what I call bare bones. So it only has these repo It only has these custom nodes. If you need extra nodes, you'll have to install them every time you turn it on, because the script that I use installs everything. So when you turn it on, it checks for those things and installs them if they're not there. That's why it's there every time, because we've automated installing it every time, and then it doesn't if it's there. And so we've got the network storage to speed it up. You see, that's how it's actually working. So for example, if you we're like, oh no, I'm desperate, I need Video X Fun 2, it's the best ever and I have to have it. Now this is where we talk about overrides. So remember when I said you can go to the Explore and you can pick the template and you can go to the thing and all the rest of it? What happens is you get to a point, so if I say deploy, I put my network, I'm not going to this time for the demo, but you pick your network volume, okay, and then we pick like an A40, and then we go to the template, and we're going to pick WAN Fun, and then I'll show you, this is something which is important, so edit template. Now when you open up the template, you can do overrides, okay. Hello Fernicar, welcome. So you can do overrides, and when you do overrides you could say, oh actually I want a bit more on the container, because remember I'm using a temporary one right now. I'm not using a network one, so I know I need 100, so you would obviously override that, right? So this is going to be like a one-off throwaway type mode where I haven't picked a network drive. I'm going to use it, and then when it's closed it's done, right? Anyway, this is the important part, environment variables. This is like where everything is. So if you wanted to set a different username and password, you could put that in here, okay? But you have to do this every single time you do it. So it's like every time you run it, you'd have to override it yourself, okay? But that's not really and we're going to talk about the Hugging Face token in just a second as well. It's super easy. You just need to make a secret called HF, lowercase. Okay, and then it's automatic, it'll just pick it up. Okay, because some models are gated, so that's how you get around that. Okay, you can make a read token in your Hugging Face and you copy it into a secret called HF. I'll show you in a second. But this is the important part here, the provisioning script. Now, if we copy this and go to it, you'll notice it's at my GitHub. Yeah? So if you just take the back off, invalid request. Oh, it's raw. Okay. The point I'm not trying to make this too complicated. Save this, okay? So save this file, and then you have the actual provisioning script. You can then add extra nodes just by adding them as new lines in quotes, you know? Just add the new things, add the new models. You can make whatever changes you want to this. Obviously, if you keep it simple, it's just adding the nodes you need, right? But once you've done it, you save that, put it on a GitHub in your name, just that script. And then when you go into your GitHub, you will find, you see how I'm on the script that I've uploaded right now? This is the script. If you click raw, that's the link that you need for the override. So you can customize it, upload it to your GitHub, take this link, open my template, and put your thing in, okay? And literally, that's all you need to do. And the best part is, if you give one of my provisioning scripts to Claude, or it's possible for you to attempt to make changes. You know, it can do simple changes if you're not able to easily. It can do more advanced changes with debugging on your part. You know what I mean? So if you're a bit more competent, you can use the AI to do stuff that's a little outside your comfort zone. Then you can debug it with your experience to get that to work, right? But at the other end of the scale, if you are not confident with adding a couple of URLs, you can say, hey, I need to add these nodes. It can easily do that for you, and it will do it in a way that won't break the syntax. Now, I think that most of you guys are competent enough to add a URL to an array in quotes. Just copy what it's like. Just add a couple. That's easy enough. So I don't know what you want to do. You can get really adventurous with this. But anyway, that's how it works. Now, each one of these has a different provisioning script. Okay. So, you know, I'm not, you know, they're not all the same. Obviously, they're customized to just bring in what we need for that. So it's just like, this is the WAN fun stack. And I haven't even confirmed that this works yet. So let's talk about secrets. When you click on secrets, you create a secret called HF. And inside of it, you put your Hugging Face read key. There it is. Done, dusted. I don't need to say anymore. It's all automatic. All of my run pods that need that secret, it's already coded in. You don't need to really do anything. So, yeah. Because, like I said, I think the SD 3.5 VAE is gated. The Flux dev models are gated. You can, you know, just go there and get the permission, but then you need your key to say that you have done that. So, that's what that's all about. So, back to Comfy. Right, so I need to go to my article and grab one of those demo things, right? So, how about we take this one, because I've got a video I could upload. And if we're lucky, we might be able to see it do something. I mean, look, it might just explode, but I'll reboot it with a bigger drive, you know, and we'll see what happens. So, bigger GPU. Right. Okay. It looks like it's already set up and ready to go. The only thing I would do, obviously, you know, this is quite good as well, because how do I get, I don't have any videos in Comfy, what do I do? So come back to here, go to Jupyter Notebook. I use the Cloudflare tunnel, but you might be able to get away with a direct link. It depends how your network's set up. He says, as it doesn't load, I'm sure it'll come through. Maybe I'll just use the direct link. Oh. Nope, there it is. So this is a Jupyter Notebook file system interface, so we can do upload, you know. So if I go Comfy UI, and then I go input, and then I go upload, right? Let me just get a file to actually upload. Here we go. 2 seconds. I have the perfect video, and it won't take me forever to find. As long as my hard drive doesn't take 10 minutes to... It's working on it, guys. It's working on it. It's still working on it. Oh! Hey! There we go. Right then. So if I go to... source project... and Johnson... and there it is. Right, now how the heck do I get to that? Okay, documents. Oh man, this is... anything in documents is like obscure. Can I get the full path though? Oh wow, I've buried it. I've buried it, guys. Premiere? Which Premiere? Premiere Pro 22. This is like a labyrinth. 22. Then what? JCam. Then Source Project. Then... wait. Which one is it? Squipose. Squipose. What? Why can't I see it? Source Project. Johnson 2 Square. Ah, there it is. Yes, we all know what this one is. Right. It's my bones. So yeah, the idea is we upload that. It should be 12. Yep, that's 13 megabytes. Quality. Now if we hit R, we should be able to pick it up down here. Hey. Hello everybody, how's it going? Oh man, look at this face. Right, so I'm going to say 49, and I'm going to skip the first 32 frames because I know that's where I turn and start talking. Alright, now I don't know what this Chinese says, but it doesn't really matter. It probably says something related to a pose guy. Now, do I have to select which type of... do I have to select what type of... enable T-cache? False. I don't have it. far as I know. Unless I do have it. It's hard to tell. The only thing I'm not sure of is, how do you tell it which control net to use? Like, normally there's a way to say, oh, I want to use depth, or I want to use, you know what I mean? Just as flow, fixed, C, doesn't really say. Pretty sure it doesn't like stickmen. Well, the thing is, the thing is, Dragon, if you recall from a few early moments ago, I showed you the author examples for this model. And there's a pose guy. Da-da-dee-dum-dum. Da-dum-dum-dum. Do you see what I mean? This is what we're going for. We're going for this, this, or this. Doesn't matter. I've got video we can use instead. But the point is, this... I've got so many things built on this. If this worked with video... Oh, man. Control models. But yeah, like I said, if you actually look at the right, comfy readme. See, I actually had to do all this Chinese nonsense to find it. But wait. Go back to my article. So yeah, look at the thing. Look at the demo. Look at the screenshot. This comes straight from the people that trained it, or as far as I know. And there's your pose guy. So it should be set up to do pose out the box. And well, I mean that's what it seems to show. Wait, can we not zoom in on this? Do you know what I mean? I can't see exactly what he said. You know, but anyway, this is why that's the mode I'm operating under. So we've got in paint or control. The only thing like I said, the only thing I don't understand is, how does it decide which control net to use? I'm gonna leave it on, I don't know if this is gonna work, so, wait, what? Okay. Alright, let's just stop talking and start crashing things. Wait, what happened? I got scammed, everybody. Scammed. It didn't take the 49 when I put that in. Okay, there we go. Now we can start. Right. Yeah. I don't want to put 1,000 frames into it. Oh no! No WAN VAE? Hold on. So what have I got here? I've got a WAN VAE, but it's called 2_1_VAE_BF16. Alright, so let's debug, okay? How do you debug? How do I know what's going on? We're going to go into it with the Jupyter and we're going to have a look. So let's see what my script broke. I bet you when we go into fun models... Oh, look, there's nothing but a config JSON. So that would be why it doesn't work, and this is what I have to fix tonight. So, no worries, no drama. Basically what it is it didn't clone this. Which is ironic, because the next thing I want to show you, I mean, hey, you could call that a segue, I guess. Unintentional. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to kill this. Remember, when you're done with your pod, remember it's all the outputs saved in your network drive, so do not fear, terminate without prejudice, okay? Because the important stuff is in your storage. Like I say, that's why I get people to do the create storage method. If I had just spun that up, when you terminate, it's done. Okay. Yeah, pulling everything manually is a right pain. I'll spend hours automating the server setup so that I can just spin it up every time, honestly. It's it's fine if you're just going to go in and do it the one time, but I know I'm going to be back. You know what I mean? So I have to kind of create a doorway for myself and build a bridge. And then I just give them away so everybody else can use them too. Yeah. So, That is the SD35, which we will take a little bit more look at another day. And that is the fun setup sorted. All right, now soon the fun will be returning to this. But I haven't put the thing, like I say, if you go and check, there's no link to that. There's no link to those yet. So if you see the link here, it's good because I've tested it fully and I know it works. If it's not there, it's experimental and should be treated as such. Okay, I'll probably put a note there to say the same thing. But anyway, let's talk about the next thing. So the next thing is HF Downloader CLI. Okay, so remember, the reason I said it was a bit connected is because obviously I can't get my RunPod to download a Hugging Face project in full, and this one can do it. I've already got a Gradio, so what I've done is I've made a new version of this, which is a CLI only tool. And so what I want to do is show you how that works. Now, obviously downloading Hugging Face it's like, what do you mean? I can just go to Hugging Face and download a Hugging Face anytime I want. Yes, you can, but you'd have to sit there and download every single file and put them into the correct folder format structure, right? There isn't like a easy way to just repo package. So you can use Hugging Face CLI, and then it might crash because you need to know how to use resume, and it starts to get more complicated. Will wget work from RunPod? I think so. I don't tend to use wget like that. So what I do is I make an array of things which need to be done in the same way, and then they all get processed by scripts. But if you actually look at the scripts, it's usually doing, look, see this one? It's a curl. That's a curl. Are there any wgets in here? Opt. Repo. No, that's a git pull. Or a git clone, sorry. Right, so the Hugging Face stuff. The Hugging Face stuff is downloading file, and you need to use the Hugging Face token. Like I said, it all starts to get a bit complicated because you have to pass a bunch of stuff with it to do the thing. And then what if they're using Mamba? So, you know, it all starts to get a little bit complicated. You know, that's why it can be easier just doing it yourself on a small scale. But anyway, like I say, it is what it is. So I don't think I'm using wget, but I am using curl in a couple of places. I think it just uses whatever the hell it wants, right? Okay. So from that point, RunPod, no, wrong to, don't download it. Right. So the way this works, you download it, so you clone it or download it, you go into the folder. Well, you don't have to do a virtual environment, yeah? You can just do pip install requirements and use system Python, okay? Looking at the requirements, it needs Hugging Face Hub, obviously, TDQM and requests. So to be honest, it's not going to break a CUDA stack if you have one in your system, okay? But because it's nice to keep it clean, I provided instructions for using a virtual environment. Obviously, if you do that, you have to activate it every time. Yeah. But anyway, there's Mac OS, which are untested. I've never tried this on Linux. Right. So essentially, and this one's private because I haven't tested it yet, but I'm reasonably confident it will work. Once it's installed, though, you actually get to use it for its intended purpose. Now, I've included a download.bat, which you could convert to Bash, and I might actually just convert to Bash for Linux users. But what it does is it automates the process of using it. Now, you can just use it on command line, like this. You don't need the batch file, right? So it's Python, HFD, Hugging Face Downloader, -- file, and that's the path to URLs file. So I use repos.txt, And so repos.txt would be a text file with URLs as new lines. Is there an example? I think there is an example. Yeah. Like, okay, so this is a little bit like more complicated than it needs to be, but there's one, and there's one, and there's one. It's lots of comments to try and explain how to do it, but you only really need to put, so if I'm on Hugging Face, I click this button here, click, and then I add, where was it? And then I add that to this list. So new line, new repo. So it will do batch, you know what I'm saying? It'll go batch, 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 and it'll run through them all. Well, the idea is that you could clone this into a run pod script and then you could have this running. So yeah, but to be honest, you probably just steal the logic. You probably just steal the logic from the actual, like, you probably just show this script to Claude and say, I want my server to use this to download. But anyway, to be honest, there's already, this already uses a Hugging Face CLI to download things. So if you go to where the Hugging Face repos are, look, this is how you do that. So if you want an example of that, there's one already in many of the provisioning scripts I've got. This one on the WAN Fun, though, is a bit experimental, so use the ones that are actually confirmed to be good, you know? A lot of experimental stuff. Anyway, let's get back to here. So like I said, because here's the thing, like sometimes I have a list of Hugging Faces that I need to download. Maybe I delete them to save space and I need to download them again. I can make a text file called, you know, WAN Fun, and it would have the repo I want to get. You know what I mean? It's more complicated with multi, you know, when you have to get more than one, basically. But anyway, you can comma separate, well, not comma separate, sorry, new line. That's why this is a bit better. You can do new line in the text file and then output save directory. So obviously that's going to go straight to where they need to be. So in this case, it would be the WAN Fun models folder or Fun models folder, right? I don't actually use that, but the AI put it there anyway and said you can't, which is nice. So here's some examples. hfd.py, file repos.txt, output downloads. It's going to download those 3 repos. So it's unattended, you know. So say if it's like, oh, it's I need to download 3 50 gigabyte repos. I have 200 gigabytes of hard drive space, but I'm going to bed right now. I don't want to have to sit there and go click every 2.5 hours, or I don't know how fast your internet is. But the point is, you can have a shopping list of repos, which you just copy from the Hugging Face like I showed you. Put them into the text file, line. And if it fails, it'll just keep, it won't stop, you know, like it'll do the whole thing and give you a report at the end. It's quite nice. Like I said, I use it because it's, even with my high-speed internet, some of these repos are coming in at like nearly 100 gigabytes for testing. Obviously, most of them don't see the light of day because they usually get quantized before we actually show them off. Anyway, so this is what I'm trying to say, right? So here's an example. Again, you can comment things out as well, which is nice. So you end up with a bunch of text files. So there's like presets as well. So you can have preset collections of multiple things and bring them in. Oh, I've used that now, delete. And then you can automate it and not have like 1 million repos with terabytes and terabytes of space. It's just nice. Okay, there's also like scheduled tasks for like super active. Or my repo is the most active repo, you know what I mean? Anyway, and you might think, well, what's the practical use case for this? And I've got one, but it's not, we're not going to be looking at it today. Okay. The reason I showed it was because it was tangentially related to the problem we had with Run Pod. And now we're going to segue into the thing we're actually going to use, which is the next thing I made. Remember my automated batch node installer? So along the same lines as what we just looked at, this is the same thing, but different. What it does is it's a command line based interface for batch installing custom nodes. and it does it from a text file, same thing. So I have a text file which contains new lines with comfy node separated paths. Now, they have to be ones that install with or without a requirements.txt. Okay, I don't have that install.py or setup.py support in this iteration. I might add it, but for now it only does requirements.txt type repos. Most of them are or aren't requirements.txt nowadays. It's kind of like a standard, but there's a few that are kind of like bleeding edge that still do it in a kind of dev way, which is the traditional setup or install.py. Anyway, we're mimicking the same thing that Comfy Manager does as best we can. Okay, so the idea here is I've just installed a new Comfy UI and I don't have any of my nodes. Wouldn't it be great if I just had a list of those URLs and I could just run a script and then boom, they're all there? Yeah, that's what we're doing here. So this one's, as long as this works, because we have to test it, as long as this works, and we're going to test it, I've already done the groundwork, so we don't have to wait. I got WAN, I got Flux, I got LTXV. So I'm going to need a slightly different recipe for each one. My plan is to actually have an AutoNode CLI installed, a different version in each, and then a special config file for each recipe list, and then a batch file which I can just run. Okay? So it's very simple. I can just be like, oh, this is cooked. Unzip a new comfy. Run the batch file. Do the symlink. It's back. We're back, baby. You could probably turn it into like a 1 hour automated system. So that's my idea. This is like the, oh my god, what is this like? This is like an engine swap in the Outback. Okay, we're just going to roll in and roll out. That's the idea. But I'm slowly putting it all together. So it's kind of disjointed. So I want to prove that this actually works tonight. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do it with WAN video, which makes it nice and easy, doesn't it? I think that there's a JJF WAN, so that might make things a little bit more fun. So if we open this one up, I've already done the sim reset. So you can see here, we've got the model. And if you go back, I can just run this file after an update and it will put the model's symlink back in. So I don't have to mess about, just double click, boom, done, right? And it will just sit here with a default JSON, which, if you could see, is, you know, fixing the broken link caused by Comfy updates. Okay, so that's that done. And then I've got a centralized, you know, they're all of them are using the same model path, right? Okay. So now what we need to do is get this recipe running. Now I plan to put it up here as well, because that means it's kind of above Comfy, which makes the operation easier, but I don't think it actually matters. So we're going to go AutoNode CLI. We're going to start here, as I say. So let's get a terminal, and we're going to do a git bing. All the code that's we're looking at was written with Claude Incline, because I like to push it to see what it can do. And if it can automate this entire rebuild process, that's really nice. Okay, so what do we got? We've installed it. So let's go into the folder. It said, oh, I want to do, remember how it was like, I said, oh, it's good to do the, what's it called? Virtual environments. Yeah. If we actually look at what it needs, pathlib and typing extensions, I'm willing to risk just using the, man, I'm having like trouble here. I'm willing to just risk the damage to system. I don't think those are going to be like a big deal. Okay, so if we come here and we just get our pip install requirements real quick. So we're just going to go. We're not going to do a virtual environment for sake of simplicity, all right? Because it's only like 2 little packages. They're not a big deal. And then we've got an example repos text file. So obviously these are a load of crap. So we're going to change that. First thing we're going to need, obviously, is the Comfy Manager. All right, so we need that first. So we'll grab that one. And then it's probably a good idea just to look at one of my articles. So I know I've got a WAN article. I think it has native support, but we're going to need It would be quicker if I just opened up Comfy and had a cruise through the manager, you know. We haven't got it open though. There we go, Comfy UI, GGUF. And I'm going to save this as WAN video. Okay. So, you know, we actually are building up a WAN video GGUF preset. Just for the custom nodes, we obviously need video helper suite. I'm pretty sure I've got like a file somewhere called nodes, which has already got all of these written out, but the one thing I couldn't find was that. So I'm sparing you the madness of trying to find that file, and we're just going to build it. I mean, I may as well get... You can't find it. Oh, Magic WAN? It's something else. That's Magic Wide Area Network. See what I mean? It's like you can't just... When they called it WAN, I was like, that's like calling your AI model Wi-Fi. You know what I mean? In a way. In all power to you, but it's going to be hard to make an impact, you know? Call me crazy. Oh yeah, KJ nodes we need. KJ nodes. We need, what's the name of that other, probably Python. We need Python GOS custom scripts. If anyone wants to start shouting out, now's the time. I'm just trying to think, like, what else? Oh yeah, sometimes we need the empty Hunyan latent for some reason. Even though it's not Hunyan, it's got like the ability to do frames. So sometimes for some reason we need this. I don't know why, but I've had run into this problem. Oh yeah, layer nodes, layer style. That's got loads of Photoshop stuff in it. What else? Oh yeah, Inspire NetRem BG, because it's the best. I'm sure there's going to be there have been many that are equal, but for whatever reason this seems to still be the best. I think it's because it puts a mask out, a couple of other reasons. It's pretty quick as well if you use the JIT mode. Right, can we think of any more? Remember, this is a WAN video dedicated thing. You might think, well, what about Kijai's WAN wrapper? Valid, extremely valid. Yes, Kijai, I need your big WAN video wrapper in my life. There it is. What else have we got? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I suppose you could grab Florence, because I'll have the model available. May as well grab Quen while I'm at it. Comfy UI, Quen VL. Oh gosh, I completely screwed that up. I don't actually know which one it is. The funny thing is, there's so many of them that have the same name. Is it this one or is it this one? I think it's this one. I'll have to find out. That does look like mine. Yeah, this is, yeah. Yeah, and it's got an advanced. Yeah. This is the one. Alex Kong. Custom. Extra models. Yeah. I've got custom scripts. So yeah, extra models. That's a good idea because you want to do your offloading. Stoof. Extra Moodles. There it is. City 96. We might just have a little bit of a browse on this guy's stuff while we're there. I know there's a bunch more. I might refresh my memory by just having a little peek in my own custom node folder, but let's see what else is hanging out in here real quick. There are some cool things in here, but not that I need. That's okay. Yeah, we want to go in here and check out my custom node folder and just scan for I mean, how? Yeah, probably, yeah. I need to push the new version as well, and I need to make sure it is the new version. Block patcher. I don't think that works with WAN. It probably does though. KJ nodes, layer style, was nodes. Was nodes. Oh. There, that one. Was nodes. Durfu. Yes. Do you really need all of those? It feels like I'm going on holiday and I'm just packing an insane bag. We got the video helper suite, didn't we? Yeah. Magic WAN. I told you. Oh. Damn. Coffee. You. Magic WAN. There it is. Just want to key eyes. Okay, cool. I don't even know if it works yet. It was experimental. It's experimental and bugged. It hasn't done anything with it. Maybe it was a dead end. So in fact, I'm not going to do it. I can put that on there another time. GGUF Impact Pack RG3. Come on. How did we forget that? How did we forget the most important one? Oh, this is the tutorial. There. Frame interpolation. More. Needs more. I love that it's all in my history, otherwise I'd be lost, wouldn't I? Never clean your cache. Just don't poison your cache in the first place. You don't need to clear it out. In paint nodes. Probably not for WAN. I don't think you're going to be doing that with WAN. Media mixer. That one's cool. That one's cool to have. Some cool little tools in that one from Dr. Diffusion. There we go. We will be publishing a repo with with the presets I'm using, by the way, on the, you know, I just hope it bloody works. Because a lot of the time, like, you know, maybe Kokoro I won't automate because it might be that that's the one with the weird numpy install. And I think it's a problem with the Kokoro requirements. I think they need to be changed. I think they're just too restrictive. And it's just sort of an... yeah, I had the same issue. So do I need the comfy roll stuff? Do I need the comfy roll stuff? Don't know. This'll do. Save. Okay, so I've got a file. Cool. Let's get back to it. So now I've got my WAN video thing, right? If I get back to the example, where is it? Is get over here. So if I get back to my example, oh, we should try that. Let's try that. I don't even know if that works. This will be fun. So, ooh, has it got a version switch? Oh my god, it's auto mode CLI 1.0. What happened then? Did it create a file? It created a log. Install a log. Cool. So now the simplest way is to use the following command. So we're going to do that. But obviously that command is bunk. So we're going to try and fix it first. Everything's on the go slow today. I don't know why. It's like that Windows update was solid. Okay. So, if I just jump up there a bit and say, there it is, right? So what's going on here? We got Python, we got the script, we got -f. Then we got, I'm sure we can explain, -f means file and -d means dir. That's cool. So the file we want to process is obviously WAN video.txt. So we'll put that in. WAN video.txt. Right? And then path to custom nodes. So for example, back comfy. Custom nodes, there we go. There's nothing there, as you can see. So, and this may require some debugging, but if I'm lucky, it'll just work. Okay, so there's the thing. So I'm just going to do this. Now, if this works, I'll make some nice batch files. You know what I mean? That's the game plan. So the first run, the idea is first run will create a JSON. You know what I mean? That's probably how I'll do it. And then subsequent runs will automatically use the JSON. It's probably a good way to do it. But then again, I could just make this a batch file and just run this. Let's see if it works. Let's see if it works. We'll see which way we want to go with it. So, get rid of that. Get rid of that. Okay, so there it is. So, path validation. It found 19 GitHub URLs. Info attempting to save the repos here. Repo list saved successfully. Required files ready. Yes. Here we go. Will it crash? Oh my god, is it coffee time? Right. I hit the wrong button. It's coffee time. Have we even trained a model yet? We're slacking. We haven't even trained a model yet. I need to find some floating cities. I need a floating cities model. It's pronto. I need it yesterday. I already have it. I need to make a better one. Anything that makes you wait that long must be good. Right. So, we are back. Thank you very much for waiting. I hope you're all comfortable. We're on a bit of a speed run tonight, like I said. Welcome back, welcome back. I do feel like I'm closer to you guys when I can hear the music. It's so disconnecting for me. Like I'm probably talking over like hard rock, like heavy metal right now, and I wouldn't even know it. Like I can see, actually I can see which song it is, so I do know it's not hard rock, but, or whatever. But it's kind of like, you know, when I'm hearing what you're hearing, it helps me connect to, yeah, anyway. I can do better, guys. I'll get another pair of headphones. The problem is I was making music last night and I forgot to bring them back to the office. Right then, where were we? So as you can see, it is doing it. Check it out. It's currently doing something. Oh, what are these? Oh, they're custom nodes. So far, so good. Like I said, this is proven in Gradio. So we already, all I've done is taken away the Gradio. Do you know what I mean? I was like, it's like build an entire UI and then be like, it's too much effort to install all that. Just give me the CLI version. So, machine 17. Oh, you don't even know the half of it. We're going to be on machine 20. See, what I've decided to do is run parallel machines that all use the same models but different custom nodes. So you got all these different comfies for different things. And then what I'm actually going to do, this is the real brainwave that I've had lately, because you think, oh, but surely having like 15 comfy UIs, that's going to cause a problem, isn't it? Right? And you're right. Eventually, you've got so many of them, it would cause a problem eventually, because it's going to fill up my hard drive for one thing. Okay, aside from any other problems that we, you know, unknowns, right? But the point is, remember what I said. If I have a script which can unzip the portable zip file, right? So it'll unzip the portable zip file to the folder, yeah? Then it will download my sim reset tool and then using the path set the folder link. So now it's got models. And then it will use this to download a preset shopping list that makes it the WAN video comfy, right? So what this is it's, you know, the provisioning script I use on RunPod. This is like a local automation that does the same thing. I'll end up with a button I can click, and it will just unpack comfy, link the sim link, install the custom nodes, and you're ready to go. So that's what that's where I'm headed for. And then the idea is, if I'm like, this comfy UI is cooked, or I actually want to save space, I can delete the whole comfy. Obviously you want to pull all of your output images out first, you know what I mean? Be careful. But you could just delete it and then use the batch file to recreate it later. So it's kind of like just a script to build, you know, automated setup tool. That's all it is. Of course, it might just explode while we're all talking about it, but you know. Oh, it's on Florence. So yeah, that's the idea, and as you can see, it's working. So good times. Do I have another one of these? Yeah, I have another one of these. So control video is coming, which is awesome. I reckon we'll get a Gagath or an FP8 or some kind of cool setup. Native, it'll get native support in 2 weeks anyway. Do you know what I mean? But I've put the instructions up, and people that want to struggle can get it working, I'm sure. See, I had it set up on my local machine, actually, saying that. What happened? Did it keep... I think it kept running out of memory. Every time I tried to run it, it ran out of memory. So... But to be honest, even I don't have enough VRAM. See, that's the thing. When these models are brand new, no one has enough VRAM. Because everyone has 24 gigs or less. That's just the way it is. Okay. So while it's doing this, because I've, you know, how many were there? 19. There were 19. It's done 11. One thing I would say is when you're finished, I actually will delete these files because I don't want them to be accidentally... It shouldn't matter, but there's this weird thing. Comfy seems to be sensitive, so sometimes what I do is I take my files out when I'm done. So like clone custom nodes and package preparation, start prep and comfy repos, those are all mine. Okay, you can tell because of the dates. Right, the 1.3 billion works fine. Excellent. Thanks for that, Dragon. Yeah, I was looking forward to making some cool workflows, but, you know, I'll get round to it. The truth of the matter is there's a lot going on at the moment, so I have to like prioritize as best I can. So anyway, like I said, this is a way to automate the pre-installation of the custom nodes. And so that means that when you start it up, remember, your models are in a central repo, and then your comfy nodes have been pre-installed. So you're ready to go. You can drop your workflow in, and maybe there's the addition, maybe there's a few extra ones. And what I would do is update the repo file. So next time, you know what I mean? Because the idea is to curate the perfect list, the most minimal comfy nodes list. Because less nodes means more faster. I've noticed comfy slows down when you have a lot of nodes. It doesn't matter up to a point, but it depends what the nodes are. Yeah, you need to git clone me. Maybe if I upload myself, you're right, Dragon. If I upload myself, then you could all download a me. Anyway. Oh yeah, it does a dry run as well. There's a -v which you can use to do a dry run if you're, you know, if you're outcome hesitant. So anyway, I'm going to leave this one to do its business now. I don't need to watch it. It's like watching paint. But the point is I'm going to do the exact same process for the other folders. And then I'm going to redesign like an overarching script that runs them all. You see what I mean? I'm going to develop a system that runs it all. And so then the idea is you can just go, oh, I want to have these nodes, please. And my models are here. And you just go, and then you get it. You get what you know what I mean? That's what I want to do. I want it to be like a pop-up comfy that has everything I need when I on first run, or it won't be exactly first run because sometimes you have to restart it. You know, sometimes you have to do an update and restart, but it depends how old the 7Z file is. I'm going to be automating unzipping the 7Z, you know, that's my idea, because I noticed that if I take a look at the structure, okay, so what happens is every time, let's make this bigger. Oh, you can't make it bigger, right? So every time I well, you can, but I'm not going to bother with that, like going into menus and all. So what happens is I have a zip file. Currently the most current one is here, which was released a few days ago. So I've got the 7-zip model that came out on the 25th of March, right? So that is 1.6. Now, it's possible to use the 7Z command to output this to any path. So in the script, I'd have this file, because remember, look, it's always the same file name, right? So whatever is the latest version is in a folder. So user places his comfy somewhere. Script unzips it to target path, which is like, machines, right? And if I see here, like, this is machines, 3D. So here's my comfy UI. So if I unzip this here, you know what I mean? I get a new one. So it's always the same path. So it's very scriptable, right? And I've already done it with the sim reset, and I've been improving that over time. Now, like I said, I've got a button I can just... But that could just be all part of a script. Anyway. Enough of all that jazz. I think you guys get it. I don't want to go on about it. It's like, yeah, cool. It automates the install. Next. We're on a speed run. We're running out of time. Okay. Let's get all this out of the way. What are next? Let me just check. What are next? What are next? What are next? Yeah, we actually get to open comfy now. That'll be cool. Maybe we open comfy. Because to be honest, I want to train another Moodle. I need to make floating cities again. Data sets. They're not data sets. Camera archive. That's not what that is either. This labeling's terrible. Hope you're all having a lovely evening. It's nearly the weekend. Like I say, I've been having a very productive week because my computer has been accessible. I've been doing a lot of remote access to my main machine, and it's been great. Do you know, it's funny, I could have sworn I pinned this thing the other day. Ah, there we go. Wait, oh, wait, that might not be it, though. That's one of them. It's one of them, but that's not the one. I'm looking for the other one. It's a nightmare, it is. Trying to find where I actually keep stuff. No! Oh no! Do you see what just happened? This is on drive M. And this is on drive G, but it's the same folder. Oh no! This is my nightmare. Which one is the most up to date? Oh no! Oh no! Guys, never do this. Never have the same thing in two places, because you'll lose your mind like I have. Hey, I mean, maybe it'll help somehow. But yeah, this isn't what you want. You don't want this. Because you don't know which one's the best one. Which one is the most recent one? It's probably me trying to back everything up multiple times, but then forgetting which one is the actual main one. Yeah, that's what it is. Anyway, so if I just go to the directory that we were working in yesterday, I think it was Thora Collection, or this one. This is the one we were looking at. So we've got all these things, distant floating cities. This is what I'm hunting for. Might be a bit too wistful. So that's really distant. I mean, look, you know, you can tell it's something. Too distant. Close up. Ah, okay. I mean, it's a bit too... Haha, Ghibli, guys. Remember, Ghibli's trending right now, yeah? Okay. Oh, that's cool. These are cool, but it's like all tall aspect. Do I have any wide screens? Just tall. And then also the scale is a bit too... Yeah, it's not very good, really. In the background, in the background, in the background, in the background. Wait, what? There's more. Wait, no. Oh, yeah, that's right. This is a different set. I thought that I'd missed a trick there. It's fine. Stormy sky only. If I want to make the world's best anime, stormy skies. Well, maybe not the best. No, none of these are what these don't fit the bill. These backgrounds, they're okay, but it's like it's less anime, more graphic novel stuff, but not even that. Cartoon. Let's say cartoon. So how about I check out the merge? So in the background, Machine City. Okay. That's not going to train well. I mean, this is pretty good. Some of it's a bit samey. Very samey. In fact, it looks like I've just been doing variations on the same scene many times, but there's a lot of good stuff here. And the style fits. It matches, well, that doesn't. Well, no, it does a little bit. Haha, what the heck? Is that Thora? Oh no. Version control, what's that? I just make zip files, guys. If I change something, if I get to a point in development, and this goes for website, code, anything, imaging, anything, if I get to a landmark, I save it. That's my version control. Save it as a new file with like a version number or a timestamp or something, right? You could call it, you know, Fart Muffin 525. It doesn't matter as long as you understand. Well, okay, maybe not that. Call it something, you know, literal, you know. It's a challenge. This is a big challenge. But the point is just a trail. Just a trail of versions. If it's an application, I'll save the whole thing to a zip file and name it Works1. And then I'll break it again. And then I've got something to go back to. But this is just sort of standard practice. It's like week 1. This is why I keep telling everybody, go and do 1 week course of Python or something. And the AI will help you with the rest. As long as you need that foundational knowledge though. Because they'll tell you stuff like version control. Yeah, you can do it with Git. You can automate version control. But listen, if you need version control to save you, maybe automating it isn't a good idea. Because then you won't be able to figure out how to fix the broken version control. Think about that. See, everyone's going on about you need to get Git tracking in your projects at the moment. It's the latest thing. They want to get the AI to do the Git tracking. And I'm like, wait a minute. So you want me to let AI to write my code and push my code? But then on the other side, you want to say it's all slop? I'm just like, guys. Read your code. It feels like this whole... Remember when we were doing writing and I was like, did you read your book though? Because the thing is, the demo of the Choose Your Own Adventure, I read it. It took ages. And there's problems in it too. But I thought, do you know what would be a better portfolio demo? Would be to show it off where it still needs a little bit of work. Okay? Because I think that the human element comes in and fixes that. Okay? But I don't want to show people that because it's not truly what the AI did, which is kind of like the whole point of what I was doing. And so I'd say we're at 99%, which is impressive because I never thought we'd go beyond 95. I thought we'd always need humans for the last 5%, and it looks like we're only needed for the last 1% now. And to be honest, that 1% is read it. So you'd think that the least you could do is read the stuff you've generated. It would be like me saying, think about it like this, because we do images and stuff, yeah? Imagine if I said, oh, I generated 100 images, didn't look at any of them. Think about that. It doesn't make any sense, does it? You've got to look at them. How do you know if they're any good? And it's the same with text. If you're going to generate text, you've got to read it, and that takes time. So Anyway, I think we're probably going to do a train on these. I like these. It's a bunch of corridors and stuff and such, so I'll be deleting probably a lot of them. It's quite repetitive. So I wonder if I've got another in the background here. Is that the only one? Ooh! Wait a minute. Oh. It's the same one, but better. Ah, yes. It's there. Okay, that's the one I'm looking for. City floating in the sky. Yeah, it's a beautiful mess. Yeah, this is nice. So, city floating in the sky. And in the background, Machine City. Do I have anything else here I can spot? There's Thor standing in Machine City, but I know they're all pretty much the same. Assault outfit. XGX City is. Wait a minute. Isn't XGX the same? We might have to. Isn't XGX the same tag as the airship? That's a problem. Hold up. I have found a problem. Back. 14. DJZ. I'm just checking my prompt list because airship XJX. It's close. XGX is the name of the airship hallway, the interior of the. Damn it. That's kind of annoying because I want to use all of these at once. I don't want there to be a token conflict. So we might do a bit of search replace across the token, across the captions. Oh, you guys have been chatting at me. Sorry, guys. Like I said, I've been on a bit of a speed run, so it's been kind of blazing through here. So let's have a look. Dragon says he applied for a UK grant and they would only accept Git controlled version control. Git controlled version control, that's funny. Fernicar Togasa was the only non-prosthetic element in the Team Major Motico assembled because all of them could be hacked. Interesting. Oh yeah, I remember that. He even had a revolver, which is cool. Because he didn't like the high-tech stuff. Reading the code as if its story would be difficult, but it's like Togasa, you have to test the code. That's test-driven development. It's a good name. TDD. Dragon says, T-shirt, don't look, guys. We don't have a problem. Brilliant. So, like I said, we've got ourselves a little project to mess about with. So if I get into my... that's a completely different one! So the danger is I'll click on this one, which is on an external drive, and work on that one, not on the local one, which is where I should be working. So we'll call this Airship Cities V3. Okay, and hopefully I can just paste it. Oh no! Paste is gone. That's fun. Okay, alright, I get it. These are the things that I have to, this is like my struggle. Where's like everything, every time making, I've got to get a new folder. Can't use the tabs that's open. Sorry guys, it's just being a bit of a UI nightmare right now. So I don't even know where we are. It's taking me to some crazy part of my hard drive. Oh, look at that. That's pretty cool. Oh, I've got that 3D printer. So this is where I want to put things. I need to be in here. I need to be, no, not in there. I need to be in here. I need to be in here, then no, back, merge. Okay, here we go. We're back. Floating city and machine city. Take that. That's the start. And then what's this? Storm over city. It's a bit old hat, that. Bit old hat. So again, in the background, Machine City. So as you can see, anime in the background, Machine City. So the idea of this is to give it something to put behind generations for city shots. And there are lots of them as well. They're quite varied. And then for floating in the sky, we already looked at some of them. It is literally a bunch of like floating stuff. Okay. So it's nice when I can just go, here's one I made earlier. And this is the beauty of me actually finding all of my things. I'm slowly organising it all. It's a little bit like a Tower of Babylon situation. You know, 3 years of generating images. You've got a big old pile of dragon's gold. It's like, I don't even know what's in it. Okay. Or I do, but it's like, I have to see it to recall it. Because you couldn't recall a list that long anymore. Right. It'd be like reciting pi or something. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to merge these into the same folder. I was thinking though, maybe there's something else. Let's just see how many images there are. Copy that and call this. Now what's this going to be? Oh yeah, we already said it's going to be airship locations. It was V2 actually, wasn't it? So we put that in there. That's the cities in the sky, and we get a copy of these. I know it's like copy of a copy of a copy, but you've got to make a habit of making copies, otherwise you will accidentally overwrite or delete something important, and that sucks. Copies are free. Losing it is for deleting is forever. Okay. And I'm talking about my stuff, if you want to click me there. Talking about my stuff, damn it. Right. So currently we have 150 images, which is perfect for a full train. So this is going to be an excellent candidate. I am going to go by type, and then I'm going to do extra large, because I do want to see if it's worth a quick curation pass to keep it from being nuts. What I'm looking out for is styles which are not fitting with what I want to go for. So too sci-fi, too fantasy, off scale. So it's a great image, but it will break the perspective of shots, and also bias. So like, for example, see this structure, this ring structure thing? It's cool, but there are too many of them. This would be confusing. This is a perfect example actually for curation. This is why I keep doing retrains, because I get to show you all these little nuanced bits and pieces. You won't run into them unless you actually have that in front of you. It's a bit like driving, you know? You won't know how to go down certain roads until you've driven them, you know? But then once you know how to do it, it's just another road. Like a hill start or a particularly steep turn, you know? But yeah, so if I was trying to train this concept, I want to train this. I want it to make, when it makes technological ones, I want it to make a ring around it. Let's say, I'm not saying I do, I'm just saying, for example, right? Well, that is going to reinforce nicely. That is going to reinforce nicely, but the bottom bits might confuse it. That's going to reinforce nicely. That's going to reinforce nicely, although it might get fascinated with this eye structure here. That's going to go okay. That is hit and miss because there's extra stuff, you see what I mean? But it should just mean you get variations on that. Whereas, and I might chuck that out actually, because it's almost a different shape. This is just a completely different thing. So this would get chucked out, basically. And then with the islands here, like they're really cool islands, but one hut on its own, that's not something that's going to be, this isn't canon, it's out. This, I can allow that because the scale is nice, you know, it implies massive scale. But this is too noisy. There's almost too much stuff too close together. It makes it look small. Like everybody has a floating house, which is impractical, you know what I mean? Whereas everybody has a floating town, that's a little bit more realistic in my opinion. Like if it's too small, like this is too fantasy and there are no mountains. You could make that work though because the scale is nice. Maybe they're floating rocks. Maybe we can make that work. What about this one? That one's okay. I would prefer it if everything was larger scale, but I only have what I have to teach it the concept of city on a floating rock in front of the sky. That's what I'm trying to teach it. So this... it's not bad actually. I thought for a minute it blew up, but... so we have like some sort of fantasy examples, and we have various different colors, styles of building, styles of technological level and scale, okay? And it's going to take an average of all of these when it does city floating in the sky. Now, I don't want it to be super futurism. I want it to have a little bit of trees and whatnot. So I've given it plenty of examples of trees and whatnot. But then I've also done this sort of post-modernist type future ecology, you know, synergy thing, where you've got like, I call it the French look. Not, you know, because it's like, I don't know, they have a lot of examples of this type of thing. Okay, like modern. That's actually kind of cool. I kind of like that. That is too bulky on top. I'd get rid of that. That's actually, it's cool, but I can't really tell what the heck. I want more complexity, so I won't train in something so simple. Again, that's a bit too simple. And then now we get into the backgrounds. And again, I don't need 15 versions of the same spiral staircase. I only need like 3. So I'll be like, oh, maybe we don't need, yeah, we don't need that. That's gone. Look, spiral to nowhere. So sometimes it's just going through and going, this works, this doesn't work. And again, I don't need 8 versions of the same corridor. As long as I don't need more, 4 is okay actually. But I bet there's going to be like 58 versions of that corridor. I was trying to do experimental, like non-Euclidean architecture and stuff. It's cool, but it doesn't really work. It tries to straighten itself, whereas stuff like that's nice. You can do that all day. Although I won't train it because there's a person in it. Sometimes I'll in-paint people out because I want the example, but I don't want to train a person being there. Ladder to nowhere. Again, we'll get rid of all these spiraling ones. Okay, so I've had a quick look at it. There's a couple of them that are a bit messy, and a couple of them that are a bit basic, and there's a couple of them that are a bit confusing, and there's a couple of them that have little gnomes inside. So we're going to purge all of those. Are you using captions for training? Ah, hello the Cusman. I thought for a minute you were one of our regulars. Yes. And what we're going to do is over the next 10 minutes, we're going to basically update this set. So we've picked out a bunch of stuff that we want in our new LoRa, and we're now going to recaption it using what I call captioning route. Now, I've spent many streams going over this, but essentially, this is just a background model, okay? So the phrase is anime in the background, Machine City, or Anime XGX floating city surrounded by blue sky above white clouds. But we're going to QuenVL 2.5 to the end of this. Oh, you're a regular, but you don't ask questions. Well, thank you for coming back. I didn't mean to assume. I was just giving you the quick rundown in case you were new. So, look at me in whiteout mode. My goodness, I didn't even know I was in camouflage. So, yeah, like this image here, because look what there. I don't know what this is up here, but it's gotta go. So we're going to do a quick spot of curation, which will make the model better. I could just train it like this. It'll be easy. Looking for advanced stuff. Yes, yes. Well, one of the things which I'm trying to hammer in is the idea of phrase training, which is something not many people teach. Phrase training is the training of repetitive sequences of words. So, do you know what? For your benefit, because you may have missed this, I will quickly jump over to this one. I have another model called Cyber Society. It's up on Civet. And so what I've done is I've taken the caption file and I've used this prompt with Claude 3.7 in thinking mode. Please analyze this prompt list, which was used to train a generative image model. I need a list of common phrases, trigger words, example XYX, and what those triggers are associated with, examples of different prompts mapping out the full scope of the image model capability through analyzing the captions directly. Write a report with your findings, and it gives me this. So as you can see, it's breaking down everything about what it can do, but it's also showing it's detected what I've been trying to teach. So phrases, we've taught phrases because of the consistent language pattern, and it picked up on that. So image depicts a futuristic scene with, image depicts a character in, image depicts two astronauts in. Astronauts because we didn't use QuenVL for part of this. So it thinks they're astronauts. Clad descriptions. So clad in an elaborate, intricate, detailed. So these are interchangeable words that can be used with the model memory. So I didn't have to train them. It already understands that. Spacesuit armor. Wearing a helmet. So these are all the branching route. So you start with the start and you go to different branches which branch again. And then you put the quen at the end. Usually is the best way to do it. So these are all things which I've trained in with my caption route structure. So clad in this, wearing this, against a backdrop of dramatic sky filled with clouds. Sky is a gradient of warm colours. In the background there are colour descriptions. So it understands this, but here's the interesting thing. The funny thing about these language models is that are running in the background for the I think they use the tokenization for the text encoder, I should say, T5 and others, is that it can exchange. Like, we kind of already knew this. So if I said rich with oranges, blues and metallic tones, I could say poor with yellow, green and woody tones. And that might not mean anything to anyone, but the AI will estimate it. So it's almost like, yeah, so it's half and half, right? So we decide what the format is. Does it give me a thing here? Cyber Society style, detailed description, comma separated tags. So that's actually the old one. Have I given it the wrong? Hang on, I given it the wrong one. Doi. That's actually right. So if you looked at the structure, that was actually using two vision models to put it together. So what I need is the later one. For the example, I needed the later one. If I go in here and go into custom nodes and then into DJZ nodes and then into prompts, my god, man, see what I mean by the labyrinth? Everything is like 8th level of hell, and then I find the key to the next door. Back to the top. So I did Cyber Society V6. Ah, yeah, there's another one. Oh, it's because this is out of date. Am I losing content? I think I'm losing content because of... See, what's happening is if I update my repo, I don't get, like, if I download my repo from GitHub, I don't actually get the latest version. It's becoming a bit of a problem. There's not the True World 66. Interesting. So I'll do not the True World 66, because that one should be more what I'm talking about. Yeah. Oh no, thinking. So it's sort of like you say photo of XYX, that's your route, and then you have a branching phrase system that describe poses, scenarios, outfits, and then you go to the next branch, and because obviously every image has a background, so you'd say that next. So then you can guarantee that even if the vision model doesn't detect that phrase and structure, you have now got a template, and then you can use the auto Quen VL to do the last half, and it usually sits inside 75 tokens. It usually sits inside the limit. So if I just scroll up here we go. It's determined that style keyword, style N, because there is a number in it, NTTW style is the model, that's the model trigger, but there's sub triggers I've trained in with this phrase system. So I used the phrase system to make sub styles. Okay, the number is just the file name of the image because it's still there. I did it all with scripting, so I was like, it's fine. Okay, so these are the different sub styles: Cloud Rig, Cloud Style, Cloud Monastery, with a typical example of what it looks like, Off-World, Skyforge, Sky Tower, Near Future. So I've basically trained floating cities and platforms, because I've been trying it, like I say, I've been cooking this up. Skyscrapers and construction, fantastical architecture, urban infrastructure, nature integrated architecture, industrial and weathered structures. And then look at this. Here's all the sub triggers for my LoRa, so it can do all those styles. And then it explains what all those styles are. There's variability within them, so that's the second branch. Second branch is lighting, perspective, other things. And then it gives me a good pat on the head for being being a clever boy, basically. Oh, it's specialized. The irony is that it didn't know about the emergent capability of the model, which was that it is a passive architectural or sharpness enhancer. So by running this LoRa with any LoRa without triggering it, it will improve the sharpness. Obviously it has an architectural bias. It was something we were looking into last November a lot. But the intention is that you just use the NTTW style generally, and it will give an average of all those styles. Okay, but also you can still access each one individually, so it's kind of like a Swiss Army knife of architectural style. That was the idea anyway. It seems to work. But yeah, the way it's done is you have that branching root structure followed by the Quen VL. The Quen VL is what allows it to hook in so well. And you can see, if you actually look, I've got, you know, whatever water world style, then NTTW, which is the main model trigger, because obviously water world is only on the water world subset, but NTTW is on every single image, and then the Quen VL part is auto tagged with Quen VL. So that's what I mean when I say caption root. This is an example of a multi-style LoRa. Yes, that's right. It was only 100,000 streams ago, so it should be easy to find. Right, let me see. So anyway, that was a nice little side quest. It was cool. I liked it. It was fun. So yeah, that's a shame. That didn't work, did it? Make sure your pods are offline. I keep going back to it every 5 minutes. Like, did I shut the pod down? Did I shut the pod down? I'm sure I shut the pod down. It's like checking if your front door is locked. How are we doing? Look at that. Total repos processed 19. Success 19. Sounds good to me. Right, well, guess what, guys? We're putting that one to public. So where is it? Oh, we'll do that as a bonus. See if that works. I haven't tested that either. See, I've had no time. I'm fairly confident that they're good, but I don't want to make them public until, you know. And yeah, this works. This works great. I'm going to automate all my installs with it. So yeah, there's probably going to be like updates. So change visibility to publico. So it's been launched. Oh no! I don't have one of those on this machine. Oh, damn it. Hang on. Ugh. Publish. It's the year of publishing, guys. It's time to publish. Don't steal my code. It's only valid for 5 more seconds. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's now live. Auto node CLI. I'll probably, like I said, I'm going to get around to over the next couple of weeks doing tutorial videos for all of these with accompanying Civit articles and things like that. It's just recently I've had a lot of work on. We got to keep the rent paid and the lights on so that we can sit here all day every day and do AI stuff. So yeah, sometimes this is why I'm a little bit like in and out, like, whoa, where did he go? He's late and he's leaving early. That's how it seems, but I'll always do 2 hours a day. Currently, that's what I can do. It's no problem. But let's look at one more thing, okay? Because we've shown this already. I'm going to do the curation on this in a following stream because I don't want to waste time. I just wanted to spend the time talking about how you would do it and stuff to really, really bring that home, okay? Cool. Because like I said, I need more time. So, next thing, and this will be the last thing I have planned for tonight, and then you can all go away and enjoy the weekends. So, where is it? So this is my new Auto Slideshow V2. We've made it better. Maybe. So let's test it. It might be broken, and that would actually be funny, but we'll see, won't we? I need to go to my D drive, get into Tools, and we'll make a file. We're going to say Auto Slideshow V. Oh, okay. Just Auto Slideshow. Terminal. Yes. Git clone. Boop. Okay. Get in there. I think this one does require a VNV. If we take a look at the requirements, it needs OpenCV, NumPy, Pillow, Librosa, and sound file. If I ever see NumPy or Pillow, I tend to do it in a VNV because I don't want to be like downgrading your system Python for my silliness. You know, if this tool works, it's awesome, but right now we're just testing it. So I've set up a install.bat, which will create the virtual environment, activate the virtual environment, do all. So you should just be able to do install and then run. Okay. Oh. Wow. What? Okay, we got an issue. That's cool. That's cool, actually. That means we get to debug it. So we're going to open up VS Code. We're going to get the path of the piece of offending software that's not working. And we're going to bring in our VS Code. We're going to do an open folder. And we're going to paste it in. Now we have our folder. There it is. Go and get our bug. There's our bug. Okay. Okay. I'm going to copy all that. So, yeah, the install failed. In fact, let's copy the whole thing. So, okay. You have to scroll and enter with command. Yeah. And we're going to go into a chat. And we're going to get a plan. let's just have a look here. So what's the main file? The thing which failed was actually install bat. So I'll double click that and have it open in the tab. It'll help with the awareness when we do the task. So I'm going to say we install my app, is it my app? No, my at.py. What's it called? Main.py? Auto slideshow. We install my auto slideshow app using app install.bat. However, we receive the following error. Nice and clean, to the point, paste it in and go. So this is why it's not live, because it don't work. I was hoping that it would just work like the last one. Wouldn't that be great? But hey, 50-50 ain't too bad. Them's good odds. I could make 10 of these in a day, and 5 worked, 5 didn't. That's still pretty good. So the thing is, can you come up with ideas? See, people say, oh, it's all about coming up with ideas, but really it's like identify a problem that can be solved with this, yeah? And there's plenty of problems. There's plenty of problems. So it's just got to think about it differently, you know? You don't really need like a crazy idea. You just need something that people need. Like, for example, right? Resizing an image. Anyone can resize an image. So why are there so many websites where they offer you to pay and resize images? Why is that? Why is that? It's because when you start actually trying to do like bulk sizing and stuff, if you're not computer literate, you have to use a website. So no, it's actually, look, Carmack can't decode byte this. So it might be because it wasn't using UTF-8. So it's not even like a real problem. So modify setup pi to use UTF-8. Check for non-ASCII characters. Non-ASCII characters. What the heck has it done? Is there a non-ASCII character in here? Has it put an emoji in here or something stupid? See, if there was, I couldn't tell because they, you know, a letter looks like a letter. Right. Add encoding specification to PyProject Toml. That's smart. Would you like me to implement? I recommend starting with modifying the setup pi. Well, here's the issue I have with that. Let's have a look at this setup pi. Install bat runs. Where does it run setup pi? I don't see it actually run setup pi. This is the issue I have with that solution. Pip install upgrade pip install. What's it even installing? Wait a minute. Oh, pip install e dot. So it's doing shorthand to install the requirements. Okay. Okay. It's a bit of a strange way to do it, but okay. It seems loose. It's weird. So it's basically saying there isn't actually a problem with it. Well, there is, but pip install dash e right. Okay, mate. Okay. Can we modify the install.bat to use the install requirements.text method instead? See, that's what I would have done anyway. I don't know, he's doing it weird. There's nothing wrong with what he did, but maybe it just doesn't script well. I wouldn't have done that. So we can make a modified install, create a simple, look at this, what's this? What's this? Create a path file in the virtual environments package to make the application directly available in Python path. What? That doesn't, see, now I've lost him. What he means is a file with a path, but what's he talking about? Hey, look, I don't want an installable package. You know what I mean? It seems like he's trying to do some weird stuff. I've never seen him do this before. This is new to me. Okay. What? Okay. We are not making a Python package, Claude. Today's the day. What are you talking about, Claude? I think this prompt is bad seed, guys. Oh my god. Installs requirements from requirements. See, that's what I wanted, not pip install e dot. Yeah. This will avoid Unicode decoding because we're not trying to install package in development mode. Yeah, it was weird. Yeah, it's weird. He's like, oh, I'm just going to develop it in development mode and then I'm going to make you a Python package. So I would have been able to do pip install auto slideshow and then anybody... What are you talking about, Claude? Stop. he's trying to, like, you know, go too far. You know what I mean? He's like, hey, Claude, could you do 3+3? And he's like, I've put an app on the App Store called 3+3. Like, So yeah, we're happy with that now. Hopefully that will actually not, like, break. So anyway, whenever you do a change like this, it's usually a good idea to delete the VNV and then do the install again. But we'll have to wait because it's being tracked by bloody VS Code. So, I think maybe it might delete it for me. Ah, okay, off it goes. Look, to be honest, I didn't do that. It's doing it. He decided to install himself, so I'll let him cook. It's truly amazing. Sit back and watch. Right, well, while it's coding, I got a box to open. Oh. A bunch of you guys knew that I hadn't been using this graphical tablet thingy, and I gave it to my son in the end. I actually gave it away as a moving away gift. I said, because he's good at drawing. He likes drawing. He does a bit of the Dragon Ball Z commissions. You know, he draws stuff like that. And he's good at it. So I thought, you know, I buy him a graphical tablet. I slowly upgrade it. So now he's got the one with the screen in it. And I do recommend them. They don't pay me nothing. They're on Amazon. It's VEIIK Vike. Or VEIK Vike. And like I said, I've had their cheapest one that came out during COVID. It was like 30 quid. And then they brought out an 80 quid one. And now they've got the 180 quid one, which actually has a screen in it. It's a 12-inch. Like I said, it's so cheap. I wouldn't care if it wasn't very good. You know, it's like that. They actually make a 24-inch one now, which is less than £400. Can you imagine being able to buy a 21-inch graphical tablet, built-in screen, for less than an Xbox? Less than Xbox money. That's crazy. Crazy. So, Whoa, come on, open it up. I wish I had the webcam, but I don't. Oh, it's upside down. That's probably why it doesn't come out very well. Right then, so we've got a new one, and that means we get to hook this up, and then we're going to be using that canvas tab custom node, which I was showing you guys. I wonder if I've got a version of it which I could show you right now. It basically opens a whole new tab. Does he accept commissions? Yeah, he does. Yeah. If you can find him, DM me and I'll give you the info. Yes. If you hear glass smashing, I was too aggressive. Okay, with the packaging. Right, so the reason this was a bit of a pain in the butt before, and I hadn't been using it for ages, is because it comes with like mini HDMI. And so obviously with the streaming setup that I currently have, it's not as easy as just plugging it in, because obviously I'm already using up all my sockets, you know what I'm saying? But I think I've found a way to get it working on the stream machine, and then I might be able to like use it for overlays or stuff like that. Oh, hang on. It's installed completely now. Cool. Yeah, he's done. Teams are done. Teams are done. Yeah, it was crap. See, it was crap. Remember I said that looks weird? Because that's ancient. I don't know. Nobody does that anymore. And he even said, oh, this is a development thing. I'm like, yo, that makes sense. Because we do it like this in the real world. But user experience was never, because you got to think everything's compartmentalized in development, right? So if you're a developer, you don't have to speak to customers. It's a different department that writes the tutorials and makes the website, yeah? So it's not your concern. You don't ever have to even think about that. And so something interesting, which nobody is picking up on, is if you are a vibe coder, you're actually a project manager, mate, because you're doing the work of 6 people. So you don't think like a developer, you think like a project manager, which is a totally different thing. And so, you know, I know a lot of people will kind of look down on it, but the reality is that if you're a developer, you only have to worry about the code. You don't have to worry about how the website's put together. You don't have to worry about what the user's going to do when they try to install it. You don't have to worry about documentation, really. Do you know what I mean? It just has to work, right? And so what I'm saying is that as a vibe coder, which I think is a bit of a cringe term, and it's probably worth a reboot, but basically, like, you're actually doing more than a traditional developer. And you have to be kind of more aware of the full scope. You can't just be in code land. You have to think about application, usability, you know, marketing. You have to think about all those things. And developer, the luxury of the developer, the traditional developer, he doesn't need to worry about any of that stuff unless he's a solo entrepreneur dev, which a lot of them aren't. A lot of them work for a company. You know what I mean? They're given a project to do. They didn't come up with it. They were given something to do, and they're good at it. I'm not knocking it, but I'm just saying you have to be... It's like the difference between being the best pizza chef at Domino's and running your own pizza restaurant, like, and it's your name on the door. That's the difference. And I think that what people have to get out, we have to get over this whole, oh, but he used AI, because it's going to become irrelevant. If everyone, like, what's that? What was it somebody said? In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. We're approaching that. So, like, when everybody uses AI, can you really call foul on using AI? No. So then it becomes about something else. So then, like I said, it was never about do you use AI. It's about is what you're producing good? Does this software, does it run? Does it run? You like it, you eat it, I'll tell you later. And we could end on a joke like that, but we've got this running now, so I'm going to have to push an update and we might actually bring this out. So I'm going to go into overtime and we're going to test this thing. So if I just have a look at the website for Auto Slideshow, Auto Slideshow Generator V2. So we do the install bat, we've done that. And then we do run bat, which is the quick start. So let's do run bat. Where is it? Run bat. What do you want to do? Wow, look at this. I'm so happy. Mate, I get to use software for the first time like everybody else. Yeah? I don't even know what options it was going to offer me. I think it's so cool. Like before, you would have spent like days trying to figure out exactly how to do the menu and which options to put on it. Now it's just like, I did it all for you. Let me just put this over here. So yeah, highly recommended the VEIK graphical tablet. They're probably on sale. They're probably on sale, guys. Pick one up. Pick them up. Okay. So what do I want to do? Let's make a basic slideshow. I just want to see it work. So enter the path to your images folder. Well, this is probably too many. So why don't we find one that's got slightly less? That's got 100 images in it. Okay. So I want to give it one that's got text files in to see if it gets stuck. Output file name. My slideshow. Oh, it's got a default. Okay, let's test that as well. Broken. Config path. Config.config. Transition duration, video duration, frame rate, transition random, input, duration 3, output file, slideshow, multi-threading, Ken Burns, text, title screen, title text, hello. Title font, 3, captions, bottom size, oh my god, what the heck? It's a null. We got nulls. Okay. I'm not going to use it, and it's not a real file. But I'm going to put something in. I just need to eliminate basics. Before I go rewriting code, let's just make sure that there is actually a variable for every variable. Setting blanks probably isn't a good idea. So let's try that one again. I'll say 1. I'll say copy. I'll say default. And it still crashes in the same place. What's that saying? That should be string. Okay, so this okay. It's from there. So from the run command down to the last bit, because it understands. Let's debug. Okay, we received the following error when we run the basic slideshow mode. The Discord link is in the description for the live stream. If you're talking about ours, that is. Let's read some comments. I had to run all my workflows to find a way to make usable images and actually sell it to someone. I think I've missed a bunch of stuff. Yeah, that's true though. That's true. Want to say using AI is not easy. It's not easy. It requires a lot of skill and a lot of experience. And I think people are slowly realizing that as they start to need to hire people like us. Dragon Diffusion. Kuzman, are you in the Discord? +1 AI doesn't want to be used. Says Fernicar. Join the Discord and stop dooning. Dragon says in Discord you'll get workflows and all manners. Yeah, it's true. Kuzman, I'm not. I'm in too many. Trust me, I know. I actually have to Dead Man's Boots now. I've got subscription to, like Nitro, but I've still got a limit and I'm capped. So I'm not allowed to join any more Discords. So I have to actually delete a Discord to join a Discord. So it's Dead Man's Boots now. So I am managing. It's like you just have to go through and be like, do I really need to be in this one? I haven't probably been in there for years. Let's drop that. But yeah. What else is going on? Never miss the streams. Thanks so much. I appreciate it, man. I get the feeling I might have spoken to you, but I might just be a feeling. I don't know why. Maybe I knew another Kuzman. It sort of rings a bell. Anyway, Fernicar, indeed more inverted here. Discord link is in the description. Dragon says, that helps, but if you're having issues trying to generate or create X, then people in the... Oh, yeah, he's not talking about X. I think he just meant, substitution with whatever, like N. I think he meant N, like algebra. He meant algebra. I'm pretty sure. But I don't want to talk for him. Anyway, so far using Deus with DDM uniform is so far the best combo for realistic images in Flux. This is a tip. Please try it. Dice. I understand. Yeah, dice. Or maybe you mean... Oh, okay, dice. Okay. Interesting. Right. So what's he say? Would you like to show me the code? Look at this. What's he talking about? I recommend modifying the class. Okay, hang on. What's he done? I've identified the error. There's a type mismatch between main and slideshow. Error occurs because on line 279 it's creating the generator. Slideshow generator config. Passes a config manager object in slideshow pi. The slideshow generator doesn't. Slideshow class's init method expects a string, not a config manager object. Okay. Error happens when config manager tries to check if the path exists at line 83. Since it's actually a config of manager object, not a string, the OS path function fails. To fix this, we need to modify either the slideshow to accept config, or modify main to pass the configuration path. Doesn't it make sense to just use a path? I would have thought I would have thought that it shouldn't use an object and it should just use a path, because it's not going to change. Just modify the pi file. Modify the But you see what I mean? In order for the human to even consider which choice of action to take, it's longer for the AI to actually do it. So it's like we are becoming a bit of a choke point. The human decision-making process is the thing that slows all this down now. It's kind of funny to watch. Here's how we would modify it. Because, in the amount of time it takes me to read it, understand it, and make a decision, it could have probably done both things, checked both things, and then given me the best one. Oh gosh. So it's going to change this line to this. So in other words, it said, look, this is the root of, look at the difference. It said config, but it needed to be config.config path. This is the sort of thing, you know what I mean? Which is like the nuance, the subtlety, the actual design, the intricacy, whatever you want to call it. Very small problems can be big when everything breaks. And it's like you might get away with stuff. Anyway, I don't want to go on. So yeah, it's a simple one-line change. Now, this may not be the last bug, this is just the next bug, but I'm just trying to give you a bit of a oh, ha 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 ha. If you've never done this and you're thinking about it, it's a lot easier than a lot of people might make out. You just need time on the, you just need time playing, you need wheel time. You need to get behind the wheel and just start driving it. Okay, there are free. You can use, a lot of the Gemini models have a free option. So you can just do a little bit of practice with this stuff and it won't cost you nothing. And it won't be like that forever. So take advantage, okay? All of the learning I had to do was 100% paid, right? The idea that you can get free API calls with this system is just nuts, okay? Dragon says, need to fine-tune a Flux model that can spell Welsh names and words, if anyone's up for that. Hey, I'm gonna make a joke at your expense now, Dragon, and remember, I make it in the with the warmest of intent, okay? All you need to do is just use an old diffusion model to spell, and it'll get it all right, won't it? If we just get an old diffusion model to do words, it'll all be in Welsh anyway. Ooh, I'm only joking, guys. So yeah, I'm only joking. Yeah, there's loads of like L's and stuff. There's lots and lots of L's. It's a beautiful language, but it's hard to read if you don't speak Gaelic or you don't understand anything like that. I think what you want to do there, Dragon, is more than a fine-tune of Flux. It's the entire text encoder. Okay, let's go. Is that too shy? Where is it? I've been to a place called Llandudno. Wait, Llandudno. And what was the other one? There was Abergavenny. That's a nice place. And then what was the other place I liked? Aberystwyth is pretty cool. I'm just trying to think of places that I've been in the valleys. It's nice roads. Driving down there is nice. Pretty cool. Because the SAS needed like a speedy route to get out of Wales in an emergency, so they got like a really cool motorway, even though it doesn't have much traffic on it. M50, baby. Right to Hereford. Right, so run.bat it wants to do. Terminate batch job, yes. It was trying to run the thing. Yeah, okay, cool. Is it going to do it again? Hands off? Yeah, it's going to do it again. All right, let's go. 1. Images. That's not the... I nearly died. That's not the URL. That was 47 lines of code. So, curated. Default, please. Oh, baby, I'm seeing fireworks. It didn't just immediately crash. That's usually a good sign that you've succeeded. But we're not out of the woods yet. Oh, you can't get it to spell. What? I'm not even going to attempt that. Which is down for road from me-ish. Crow-C-Key-Log? Crow-C-C-Log? Crow-C-Slog? Crow-C-Sly-Log? What type of orcish name is that? I'm just joking around again, Dragon. I'm just joking. I'm actually like right by the Welsh border, so you know, we're near Forest of Dean. Like, if I drive to Malvern Hills, I believe that I can just look over the edge of the hill and there's Wales. It's crazy. It's like, yeah. Right. Apparently it works. I think we might be able to push this. Where did it save it? Okay, well, the audio won't work because it was fake. Oh, sheesh, boys. It's a bit like, listen, it's a little bit schizo because it doesn't hold on the image. It just, we're just going transition. But guess what? It works. I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with that. Oh boy, when I get this under control. You know how we wanted to do our, like, you know, video? Think about it, right? Which is going to be more computationally intense? Making a slideshow to put narration over or making video? So, It works well with duplicated image. Yeah. It's one thing I've noticed is it does just go from the image it was on to the image it was on again. Look, it didn't actually change the image, and it went back. Oh my god. My god, it's so fast. I'm gonna have to keep this as a preset. Yeah, the effects are really good, aren't they? Yeah. And the thing is, like I said, what I did with this one was this has got a whole bunch of cool features which you don't even see under the hood. So let me just quickly run it through. I'm not gonna release it because I want to put more controls in, but I'm gonna push this. You know what I mean? This, you know, I'm gonna update my dev version basically. But let me explain. Okay. So, custom aspect ratios, audio integration, text capability, so it should be able to add text, title screens, maybe captions, transition effects, loads of them, 15 in total, color effects, Ken Burns effect, progress recovery, so I don't know what the hell that's about, performance, multi-threading, so it's not just going to crash as soon as you put like a big folder into it, and then save and reuse settings, so it's going to have a template system, so I do think I have an example of there we go, templates. So this is a dynamic story template. Look at this. Dynamic story template, pan and zoom, so you can pick and choose. Remember all of the audio effects and stuff that we made? So the idea is you can create custom ini file which has got all of this stuff defined. Okay, so here's social media quick, slightly different. Fast-paced slideshow for social media. So the idea is generate your images, curate the good ones, folder of images, run the script, make the video, done. Right? And the one thing I'm trying to figure out is, with the config, I mean, I guess it's part of the template really, isn't it? But I want it to hold. If you notice, it's got all of these different transitions, but there's no variable to make it hold the frame. That's the one thing I forgot to do. So it goes transition, because I never told it to just hold. Yeah. But yeah, this is coming. Yeah, look at that. I like the glitch effect that goes across. Do you know, making it do 2 random effects like that actually solves it duplicating. Because if it's going to do a duplication and you do 3 shuffles every time, and then hold, like 3 effects hold, 3 effects hold, 3 effects hold, it'll always end up on a new image, even if it duplicates. And then you can make it into a bit of look, see, it's like an effect. Like it always holds the same image twice. So do 3 transitions. Fixed. I know you could probably just fix the code, but I kind of don't mind, like, because it goes transition, new image. Transition, new image. Yeah, I like that. Okay. So yeah, that works. So yeah, I'm going to push that. And like the best thing about this is it's CLI, which means that you cook your templates and then you could script it with different paths and just you could batch it through like 100 folders and just let it run. Because I'm trying to get into unattended automation where you don't have to sit there. You can just go, right, I've preset my thing, run on this folder of images, go. And mate, we've got so many folders of images. So yeah, it's going to be, I think it's going to be very easy to create like long form content. The question is, what's the recipe for how that timeline looks? That's going to be the next thing. Having some cadence and rhythm to the design of what images go, you know, what you're showing and in what order. Yeah, that'll be the next trick. But like I said, this is a step in the next direction. Auto Slideshow V2, easy way to make videos. What I would like to do, if it's possible, would be to make the transitions into plugins. At the moment, I have an effects.py, and the effects are just here as a... I've tried to do it like this, because my plan is to have it so that you can have a folder where you'd have a Python snippet that is like a fully contained effect, right? A different effect, basically. That's the idea. I don't know if it's possible, But yeah, essentially like the ability to have plugins that extend the number of transitions. But we'll get it actually working first and then worry about stretch goals later. So let's just chuck that new version of the thing in there. Where is it? Where's my folder? There it is. Right. There. And we're going to do all of those. Not the VNV. Hang on. There's a pi cache in there now. I don't want to be putting the pi cache in there. I'll delete the pi cache if I see it. Take that. Don't need those. I think that gets created on run. Yeah, it does, so you don't need that. Okay. Ah! When you miss it by a pixel, come on. Oh, jeez. Right. And drag it. It'll only update the files that have changed, so I am being a bit lazy, I guess. Where's that pi cache? Oh, nope. 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 I was lazy. But it was easier to do it this way. Like I said, I'm lazy. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Keep missing by a pixel. What's going on? I need to clean that mouse out. Right. So yeah, it does work, but it needs a bit more. Now, like I said with the template system, here's some of the features. Like I say, you know, you can actually say I only want this one. You know, you can set it all up. The reason I've decided to go with I'm ditching Gradio in favor of CLI tools is because I've realized that once you have scripted CLI tools, the LLMs can orchestrate them as an agentic approach. So you can actually make them available to an agent, which can then run them. So it's kind of like still up in the air, but everything's starting to get closer together. It's tricky because it's kind of like, oh, you've got all this sort of ideas of how everything's going to connect, but I don't like to talk about it too much until I've actually made something work, because you could go in all kinds of different directions with this stuff. But yeah, as you can see, you can add background music, you put title on it, 30-second slideshow for Instagram. This is the sort of thing I'm trying to make instant content tools, which essentially, because we're sitting on so much content, I think these sorts of things enable us to then publish more stuff quicker, faster, you know, to a higher level, right? Or that's the idea. So this won't go public. Wait, it already is public. Okay, it's public. I would still want to make it better though. Hang on, I'm just going to put a note here. Work in progress. It's the best I could do. See, I've been reduced to what the chat GPT was doing the other day. We're working on it. We're working on it. There's a reference. That should be on a t-shirt. We're working on it. We're aware of the issue, says chat GPT. You know, when you're trying to get him to fix your code. Yeah, we're aware of that bug. I'm not going to do anything though. Look at this. See, I need to update the documentation. One thing after another. But again, this is something else actually. This is my last top tip of the show. So I save more time with this simple process than anything else in all of AI. Because I didn't realize how long I was spending on this stuff, okay? I'll admit, sometimes my documentation can be a little bit ropey. But that's because it's all AI generated now. I don't write my documentation anymore. I occasionally edit mistakes in it. But to be honest, it's more comprehensive, it's cleanly laid out, and it took me no time. That's the important thing of what I'm trying to say here. So here we have made some changes, so I am going to close these down. I don't want to confuse it. So now I will close that. I'm going to open up my README, and I'm going to use the same prompt. I'm going to type it out, but I pretty much have this like copy pasted. It's more effective when you have it at the end of a single chat where you made changes. But I realize you may have made many chats with many changes, in which case you just tell him to read the stuff more. Okay, so we say this: we can update my readme.md to reflect the current state of the project. That's all you really need. But you can go on to say read my readme. Okay, read the core script, and then name that, which in this case is auto slideshow.py. Okay, and then I'll say consider the changes we have made today. Now when I say that, I know it doesn't really know what day it is or anything, but that's enough to make it go, ah, he's talking about the conversation we've been having. Yeah, where we fixed the install.bat. So obviously I'm not going to tell him to fix the install.bat, but I'm pretty confident that he will, by me saying this, go, oh yeah, that's what you want me to do. Put it in plan and go. That's all I need to say. Because I already said at the beginning we can update the README. I don't need to say it twice. You can, but we've given him clear instructions. So based on the files you've shared and the changes we've made today, I can see several areas where the README should be updated to accurately reflect the state of the project. Here are the key changes. Current README mentions installing package in development mode with pip install, but we've modified this to pip install our requirements. This simplifies installation, avoids Unicode decoding errors, which is like bonkers. Nobody in user level. Anyway, what you're going to tell? Oh, the Unicode is decoding. No. Anyway, people are going to look at you like, what? They don't even know what you mean. What are you talking about? Speak English, man. Is that like Transformers Unicode errors? We've changed how application is running. Instead of using Python v2 main, we now use Python auto slideshow. So there's a big one, look. So the instructions on the README are completely scuffed, and this is why we got to do this. Bug fixes. Now we'd be already finished by now. This would have taken 5 seconds, but I'm trying to step everyone through it. I know some of you, or all of you maybe, may know this, but others that are watching later or now maybe may like this sort of stuff. So README could benefit from a clear explanation, blah, 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 and then you get to pick it. Now, at this point, I'm just going to say act, because I'm happy. I don't want to, I don't want it to change everything. And like I said, I used to spend about an hour a day just doing documentation on whatever project I'm working on, whatever thing I've been contracted to build, whatever it is. It doesn't matter if it's for my own personal use or for a client. It's irrelevant. You have to take the time to write, what is it? What does it do? How do you install it? How do you use it? Examples. All that used to take a lot of time. I never realized how much. And I would say it's at least an hour a day. At least an hour a day. And I'm not even working full time. Like if I was working, as just coding all day, every day. I don't do just coding all day, every day, right? So if I was, it's probably more than an hour a day. And the other thing is, I don't even have to track the changes I make, because it does. So it knew what I changed. Remember, I didn't tell it what was changed. I just said, read the README, read the new script. So it'll go, oh, what's different from the instructions and the current script? Now, obviously, it did have the benefit of having this whole conversation where we've been doing stuff, right? Which is why I say, last thing you do, when everything works, you've tested it, it's ready to push to GitHub, you've pushed the update, last thing, update my README. And to be honest, you could probably just say update my readme. Early on, that's what I used to say. I'd just say update my readme.md, and that was enough. But I do find that being a little bit more precise gets you more precise results. So literally, we can update my readme. So that's elicitation. I told him we can do it. Then I've given context to reflect the current state of the project. So that's compressed language where we imply that it is a possibility. I'm not asking him, I'm telling him. There's a difference in the way you tell him to do stuff. So I say, now another implicit command, read my implicit file. Read the core script, context on what it is. He knows what readme.md is. Readme.md comes with a lot of context. Yeah. And so, you know, it knows it's for GitHub. It knows it's the thing that everyone's going to read. You know, it comes with a whole lot of implied context with these systems. Read the core script at autoslideshow.py. So he's going to immediately eat the script and go, oh, I can see the features. They're different. I'm going to change the README because I've told him already, update the README. And then consider the changes we made today is a shorthand to make him consider this chat. So as you can see, he's changed the installation requirements. He's updated all the command line examples to use Python slideshow instead of that. Adds a recent updates, highlighting the changes, saying we made that installation fix. Kept the feature descriptions, comprehensive information intact, and changed all again. Run back, so he's updated that and the run back. Because again, oh, I forgot that I even used that path in run back. So he's fixed that for me as well. Okay. Now, it's always a good idea to actually, well, we already have tested it. Yeah, we already have tested it. The only thing I'm worried about is that this has changed. So do I still have the path? Yeah, I do. I'm doing it one more time because he changed the... It won't be the script that's a problem. It'll be the batch. Because remember, I mean, it shouldn't make any difference, right? But shouldn't isn't a word in my dictionary. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. That don't work. That works. Let's try a basic slideshow with a template. Enter template to use. So it says the following arguments are required. Folder. Oh, that's cool. So what's the name of the folder? But it doesn't have a folder. So yeah, again, this is why I have to test stuff. So template name to use. I'm going to say dynamic story. All of this stuff is untested, see? So dynamic story, do I have to put .ini? Path to images. What I'll call this one DYNS story. .mp4, probably have to type that. Oh, it's doing it. It's doing something. It's making frames. Wait, each one of those is a transition? Holy crap, this thing is fast. It's got 211 transitions to do. It's nearly finished. 0.07 seconds per image. Oh my god. It just rendered 3,589 frames. Oh my god. Oh my god. When it said multi-threading, it was no joke. Okay, so let's see what actually came out of that, because it could just be a joke. Okay, so problem number one, it didn't actually, I don't think it actually respected the name of the file. Yeah, I think it just overwrote that, guys. So the output file name handling doesn't work. It's always it's the center focus bias for the transition wipes and slightly different timings, but it worked. All right, I just wanted to double check because we made changes to the run.bat and I wanted to make sure that it hadn't broken something in the final, you know what I mean? Because technically when you do documentation, it shouldn't be changing any scripts, but in the process of doing the documentation, it found an oversight and fixed that, which meant I had to do one more test. But it's good to go now. So all I need is those files there. I'll push those. Well, when I say good to go, I mean, you know, for this stage in the commit, right? What I'm going to have to do is test every feature, make sure that, you know, it's actually saving the output file name that you asked for and all that kind of stuff. It's probably more reliable to use the... See, look, the instructions all use completely weird crap. So, yeah, it's probably safer to use on direct command line. Yeah. It's probably safer to use on command line because the batch file I make is like ease of use. So I'm trying to make it easy, but sometimes there's an error in the batch file. So it's like the problem was not the script, it was the batch file. Yeah. Alright, so yeah, you'll be... This is already public, but I think it still needs some work because there's still some bugs, but it's functional. So like I said, this will be a nice way to make the video content for putting AI narration over the top. Because at the moment it's just like random images, but I think once you start planning it a bit, I think it all starts to improve. It's all about process. Undulation and iteration go hand in hand. Right. We'll have to take a look at this pre-trained LoRa tomorrow. So yeah, thanks ever so much, guys. I really appreciate you guys joining me every night. It's a blast. I have a great time, and it's nice to hang out with you guys, see what you got to say. We are going to be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. and it will actually be 7 p.m. tomorrow. Today I had a bit of a Windows update issue, so that caused a bit of a delay, even though I wanted to get in early. So yeah, look forward to the Saturday show. There'll be pings. I'm going to start doing pings earlier so that people have a bit more idea of what time the show's going to be on. It should be the same time every day. So if I come in after 7, I'm late. That's just the honest truth. Alright guys, thanks so much. I'll see you all next time.